This week, we see a little bit of everything on the Market Watch, even some reserve list cards. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now, you can pre-order Innistrad Remastered, Ether Drift, or find a vast number of other great items on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or the comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This time around, we're going to be looking at 10 cold cards. Those are the ones moving down in value this week, and 15 hot cards that are moving up. Like we did last week, we're going to move quickly through the cold cards and spend more time examining why the cards moving up in price are heating up. As always, our lists are based on two pieces of criteria: the percentage change in the value of the cards, as well as the change in the number of sales from week to week. And like I said in the cold open, you're not going to want to miss this one. We have a good variety of different types of cards moving up. Even some reserve list cards have shown up here, which hasn't happened in a while. Before we get started though, a couple fast things. I want to let everybody know that we have begun doing Commander deck tech videos on the channel. They are released to the gold patrons and hero and legend tier channel members on Sundays. Everyone else can then view them on Wednesday afternoons. We've done Edgar Markov and the Get Rog Monster deck techs over the last couple weeks. This week, we're going to be looking at a fun build around an upcoming card from Ether Drift, Duretti Rocketeer Engineer. So I hope you join us for that. I also do want to take a moment to say thank you to one of our gold patrons, and that is Todd Branch. Todd, thank you for all your support you've given the channel through Patreon, through your numerous super thanks tips as well. I truly could not do this without viewers like yourself. Thank you so much, Todd. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin by looking at the top 10 coldest cards of the week. Number 10, Agate Instigator, down 208 to 1637, that's an 11% decrease. This is from Family Matters, the Bloomburrow Commander deck, not the TV show. A new shipment of Bloomburrow Commander decks did hit stores this week, so some of the key cards are moving down in price. In fact, you're going to see more cards from those decks on the cold list. Here's another one at number 9, Hazel's Brewmaster, goes down 209 to 1450, that's a 13% decrease. This is from the Bloomburrow Squirreled Away Commander deck. Number 8 is Preacher, down 225 to 3346, that's a 6% decrease. Number 7 is the official card of the Market Watch, Fear of Missing Out. It goes down 240 this week to 760, that's a 24% decrease. This was number 2 on our cold list last week. This week it's down 4 spots to number 6. Abhorrent Oculus, down 263 to $40.56, that's a 6% decrease. Our number 5 card continues to fall after it was banned in Commander last September, Jeweled Lotus. The Commander Masters copy goes down 260 to 3840, that's a 6% decrease. The Commander Legends copy is down 268 to 3571, that's a 7% decrease. Number 4 is Parallax Tide, it's down $3 to $16.99, that's a 15% decrease. Number 3, Alchemist Talent, down 332 to 2576, that's an 11% decrease. Each Bloomburrow Commander deck has an exclusive talent spell that cannot be pulled anywhere else, including collector boosters. This is the exclusive one from the Animated Army deck. Number 2, Jack Rabbit, down 341 to $15, that's a 19% decrease. This is from Family Matters, the Bloomburrow Commander deck, not the TV show. And finally, coming in at number 1 this week is City of Traders, down $21.54 to $356. That is a 6% decrease. Alright, on to the main event. This week the market was a little more active, so I do have 15 cards on the hot list. So let's start off with number 15, Pest Control. It goes up $1.08 to $4.65. That's a 30% increase. This is from the Outlaws, the Thunder Junctions, the Big Score subset, so it is harder to pull than a card from the main set. Currently, one of the most popular decks in Standard is Esper Self Bounce, and that deck runs a bunch of 1 casting cost cards. Things like Nurturing Pixie, Spiteful Hexmage, Storm Chaser's Talent, Hopeless Hexmage, and these 2 cards from Dustmort, Optimistic Scavenger, as well as Cadaver Lab, as long as only that room is unlocked and not Defiled Crypt. Because of the success of this deck, Pest Control has become a very important sideboard card in Standard. Ironically, the highest played deck using it in the sideboard is actually the Esper Self Bounce deck itself. That way it can deal with the frequent mirror matchups. But the card is starting to appear in other builds too, like Orzhov Midrange, Orzhov Token Control, Esper Zur, and 5-Color Zur. Additionally, you see a copy of this in Legacy Esper Tempo sideboards, but Standard is truly the key driver for this price spike. This was number 5 on our hot list last week. This week it's down 9 spots to number 14, Paw Patch Recruit. Up $1.22 to $4.78, that is a 34% increase. It has been seeing a little commander play. It appears in Phineas Ace Archer and Berklong Ear of the Law decks, for example. But again, it's the standard format that has caused increased interest in the card. A new Selesnya Tokens build came in first place at the Star City Games Standard Open a week ago, and things escalated from there as players scrambled to build the deck. This is a 3 of or 4 of in the main of those Selesnya token builds. The deck that won the Star City Games Standard Open was running 4 copies. And this week we're seeing a Bant version of the deck too, but Selesnya is the more popular build still. It's worth noting though that Paw Patch Recruit is not a one-hit wonder by any means. It's in other standard decks as well, like Gruul Aggro. That's another one that actually did perform very well at the Star City Games Standard Open a week ago. Plus you see this in Gruul Prowess and sometimes Gruul Delirium. Number 13, Edward Kenway, up $1.26 to $11.91, that's a 12% increase. Currently, this is a fairly popular commander, and it's in the 99 of a few builds like Ezio Auditore da Firenze and Admiral Beckett Brass, but now there is increased interest in Edward because of Ether Drift, hence the price increase. The story for this upcoming set is based around a race running through multiple planes, and racing of course means vehicles. Plus I'm sure we'll see lots of support for said vehicles. Not many cards from Ether Drift have been previewed yet, but here are a couple examples. We have Earth Rumbler, which is an uncommon vehicle, but more importantly for Edward Kenway, check out this card here, Lifecraft Engine. This will play well with Edward and Commander builds, so some players and speculators are trying to secure their copies now. Number 12 is Phyresis Outbreak. It goes up $1.30 to $8.17, that's a 19% increase. This is from the Phyrexia All-Will-Be-One Corrupting Influence Commander deck. Copies of this are a little dry online right now. It gets some commander play in a few different builds. The highest played deck that uses this is Atraxa Praetor's Voice. Number 11, Celestine the Living Saint, up $1.52 to $14.46, that's a 12% increase. This is from the Warhammer 40k Forces of the Imperium Commander deck. That deck had some heat on it recently due to the Ultramarines being in the very popular Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 video game, and copies of some cards from it did dry up online. You might remember that we've seen Marneus Kulgar from that deck moving up in price not too long ago, and Celestine is in decks around Marneus many times. This is also a fairly popular commander, and it's in the 99 of other decks too, like Will Scion of Peace as well as Lisa Shroud of Dusk. In fact, that one is the build where Celestine gets the most play, and that version of Lisa was recently reprinted in the Mystery Booster 2 product. Alright, quickly before we get to our top 10, just a fast reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Innistrad Remastered as well as Ether Drift on their website. Plus they have a whole lot of other items, both MTG related and otherwise. Remember, if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the description or the comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the top 10. Number 10 is Darksteel Monolith. It goes up $1.55 to $15.55. That's an 11% increase. This is a solid card in a few different commander builds. The highest played decks that included are around Zuladak Voidgorger and Ulek Fused Atrocity. Also, this artifact recently got a boost in play, appearing in builds around a new card from one of the Marvel Secret Layers, Iron Man Titan of Innovation. However, now Darksteel Monolith is heating up again because of an Ether Drift preview card. Many are getting copies of it to include in commander decks around Duretti, Rocketeer, Engineer. Again, we're going to be doing a commander deck tech on Duretti later this week, so check that out. And yeah, spoiler, I did include Darksteel Monolith. Down 2 spots this week to number 9 is Contaminant Grafter, up $1.73 to $9.25. That's a 23% increase. This is another card from the Phyrexia All-Will-Be-One Corrupting Influence commander deck. It does see a little commander play. Again, the most popular deck that runs this is Atraxa Praetor's Voice. However, the second most popular deck using Contaminant Grafter is Finn the Fangbearer, and Finn was just reprinted in Magic Foundations. Finn has been a fairly cheap uncommon, however, with lots of players finding copies of it in their Foundations packs, there is an increased amount of interest in commander builds around the card right now. Contaminant Grafter is harder to find and it's great in those decks, so it has dried up, leading to a price jump for the second week in a row. Number 8 is Shallow Grave of $302 to $44.99. That's a 7% increase. Believe it or not, this is the first of 3 reserve list cards moving up on our list today. Now this one does get some play. It appears in multiple formats, including regular Commander, 1v1 dual Commander, pre-modern, and Legacy. For example, in Legacy, you see this card in Reanimator builds, and in Commander, it's sometimes in Carrick, Son of Yawgmoth decks. Up 2 spots this week to number 7, Sandstorm Salvager. This is going up $3.70 to $8.73 for a 74% increase. It sees a little commander play. Sometimes this appears in Bernard Ginger Sculptor or Geared Mirror of the Wilds decks, for example, but standard is the format that is causing the spike you see here. This is a 4 of in that new Selesnya Tokens build that came in first place a week ago at the Star City Games Standard Open. The deck runs 4 copies of Sandstorm Salvager in the main, and this also is now appearing in the Bant version of the deck. Plus remember, the cards from Outlaws of Thunder Junctions, the Big Score subset, are harder to pull than cards from the main set, so it's not too surprising to see this jumping for a second week in a row. Number 6, Political Trickery, up $4.04 to $6.99. That is a 137% increase. Here's our second reserve list card on the list, and this Mirage copy is the only tournament legal version. Political Trickery really doesn't see much play to speak of. It doesn't happen much anymore, but this does look like a targeted reserve list buyout. I would imagine at some point we'll see the copy sold back into the market, and when that happens, this price will drop back down. Number 5, Yavimaya Hollow, of $4.70 to $66.70. That's an 8% increase. Our third reserve list card, and this one does see play in dual 1v1 Commander as well as regular Commander. In regular Commander, it's in a few builds. For example, sometimes this appears in decks around the first sliver. Although what we're seeing here is just a price correction after the card took a dip last week. You might remember that it was actually number 3 on our cold list. Number 4, Scape Shift. The core set 2019 copy is up $1.94 to $23.99. That's a 9% increase. The Morningtide copy, though, goes up $6.72 to $31.72. That's a 27% increase. This got a special guest printing in Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which did suppress its price for a bit, but now that the new modern meta is taking shape, we are seeing Scape Shift climbing some. It is an Amulet Titan, and that deck has been fairly successful in this updated meta that began after the latest ban list update, which occurred in December. You also see Scape Shift in quite a few commander decks. The most popular ones that run it are the Necrobloom and Omnith Locus of Creation, but Modern is truly the key driver this time. Here we have a card that was number 1 on our cold list last week. This week it's number 3 on the hot list, Edgar Markov, up $8.11 to $100. That is a 9% increase, and this is the copy from the Commander 2017 Vampiric Bloodlust deck, and it only comes in foil. As a matter of fact, the only other printing of Edgar has been a Judge promo, which also was only available in foil. However, that is now changing since it is getting reprinted in Innistrad Remastered. The set officially releases on January 24th, but many stores have already begun holding pre-release drafts. That means new copies of Edgar are slowly getting out there, but next week lots of them will be hitting the marketplace, and I would expect this price to drop. This week, however, it's moving up as some impatient players pull the trigger on the card, and I think many feel like paying a premium for this original copy, which is a foil, is still worth it to them. Right now, the regular Innistrad Remastered foil price is $69.99. So it's not that much less than this original, although I'm sure the Innistrad foil will drop significantly as packs are cracked. Edgar Markov is a wildly popular commander, and many players have been waiting for a reprinting for a long time. Also, don't forget we did an updated Commander deck tech for 2025 around this card a week ago. So check that out, since I'm sure you're going to be seeing more builds around Edgar at the Commander table soon. Number 2, Grinding Station. It's up $8.36 to $22.99. That's a 57% increase. This one is moving up because of Modern. As you know, December's ban list update shook up the format. The unbanning of Mox Opal really pushed the Grinding Station Breach builds, and the Teamer version in particular has really taken off. Now there are other variations out there, including Gruul, 4-Color, and Grixis, but Teamer Grinding Station Breach has seen the most success in the meta by far. The builds include a combo of a 0 casting cost artifact, which now includes Mox Opal. They then have Grinding Station and Underworld Breach in order to mill yourself until you end the game with either Thassa's Oracle or Grape Shot, for example. Grinding Station does see a little commander play too. It's in a few decks there, including Rograk, Son of Roga, and Silas Wren's Seeker Adept partner builds, for example, but Modern is the key driver for this spike. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Overlord of the Balmerk, up $20.11 to $32.11. That's a 168% increase if you're doing the math at home. This is getting played in lots of decks in multiple formats. First in Standard, you see this in Golgari Self-Mill, Jund Insidious Roots, and Orzhov Reanimator. Over in Pioneer, it's in Mardu Greasefang. Meanwhile, in Legacy, it appears in Yorion Death and Taxes, as well as Esper Vile. But wait, there's more. This is in regular and 1v1 dual commander decks as well. In regular commander, it's in a bunch of builds like Nethroi Apex of Death and Winter Misanthropic Guide, for example. Also, many have grabbed Overlord of the Balmerk to upgrade the Dustborn Death Toll commander deck, while others have been using it in fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Winter Cynical Opportunist. However, there's not a lot of things I like more than bearing the lead, and this week, Overlord of the Balmerk is spiking mostly due to Modern. The deck that is making this spike happen is an Orzhov mid-range blink build that has been doing very well in the new Modern meta. The build has multiple ways to blink permanents like Felia, Exuberant Shepherd, and Flicker Wisp, for example. Remember, if you play Overlord of the Balmerk for the impending cost and then flicker it, not only do you get the ability to trigger again, but the card returns without the time counters, so you have a 5/5 creature ahead of curve. There's also an Esper version of the deck that is consistently running this too. And additionally, it's in other Modern decks like Orzhov Stoneblade and Death and Taxes, but again, really it's Modern Orzhov midrange blink that's the key driver for the spike this week. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Thanks for joining us. I do want to remind you that we are going to be back later in the week with a Commander deck tech around Duretti Rocketeer Engineer. Until then though, hey, thanks again for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.